G'day folks, VM Explorer here, and in part 7 of our 10 gigabit NAS Home Lab, we're going to be doing some network speed testing. So in this video, I'm kind of going to demonstrate how I went about doing that using a program called iperf3. So let's go ahead and get started. Before we do, a couple quick program updates. We've been through 6 different parts in this 10 gigabit home NAS lab, from unboxing and tearing things down to doing some initial setup. And in this video, of course, we're going to be, now that everything's set up and ready to go, we're going to network test it and make sure we're at a relatively good baseline, right? So also in supplement videos, I've also made 5 others around quick NAS topics, from installing USB devices to expanding RAID, things that were kind of outside of the home kind of NAS lab, but were relevant. And one of those topics you should be worth looking at is this topic right here, create your own iperf3 Docker container. Because in this video, we have 3 different devices. One with an AMD processor, one with an Atom processor, right? And one with an ARM processor. So what I've done is I've actually created 3 Docker Ubuntu containers with the iperf tools installed on it, and then push them up into my VM Explorer repository. That way I can have a common program between all 3, including my PC as well, to do network testing. If you want to know more information, check out vmexplorer.com and look in blog series, and you'll see all these topics and more. All right, so today's session, we're going to be doing an overview of iperf3. We're going to set up iperf3 on the Windows box. It's already done on the containers, but we'll talk about those. And then we'll go through the home lab topology and end up doing some speed testing. So again, today's goal is just to ensure that all the network devices are able to communicate with one another and run at an optimal network speed using common tools. And it should be noted that I haven't done anything special to these NAS devices. I literally have plugged them in, gave them a single IP address, no lagging, no MTU settings, nothing at all. Just have set them on the network, plugged them in, and we're going to do some network speed testings that kind of get a baseline before I make any modifications. That way I know where I'm at as I start making modifications. Am I improving things or not improving things? Are they working better or not working better? This way we have a really solid default baseline to build upon. All right, let's scroll down a little bit. So just a quick overview of iperf3. iperf in general has been around for a while, and it's supported on lots of different devices, whether it be Windows, even older versions of Windows, Androids, iPhones, tablets. I mean, all types of blends of Linux. It's really universal when it comes to this, and that's why I chose it, because I could use it on my NAS devices with containers. Pretty cool. I can use it on Windows. If I really wanted to, I could stick it on maybe an Android phone or something and do it with there. So the command set's super simple. It's just iperf3-3 for client, and what's the target of the server you want to talk to. You put another device in server mode. You just type in iperf3-s. And that's it. And it gives you this really cool little report and lets you know how things are operating. All right, so let's go down here a little bit. So setup, the Windows setup could not be more simple. It is as simple as going to the iperf website, downloading the Windows installer, which it's not even that, it's just a zip file. Extract that zip file to a local directory and run the program. It is that easy. In fact, here it is right here on my Windows machine. And I just put it in an iperf folder. Okay. There it is. It's a whopping 2 files. And I type in iperf3-v to check its version. And there it is. It's ready to go. Now, I have another system that is similar to this, and it's in server mode right now. We'll be coming back to this PC in a second, doing a speed test in just a minute. Okay, so we'll do some speed testing, PC to PC and NASs and NAS to NAS, and checking them all out. But before we do that, let's just understand how things are hooked up. There's 2 primary networks I have. I have a 74 network, which is that black network you see there, right? The network kind of on the left-hand side of all the devices. They all range from, wireless devices to physically connected into a simple 1 gig switch. And basically, anything on this side is going to be management, whether it's trying to manage the Synology devices or the ASUS store devices or the PC that I'm on right now. I kind of remote into those things and execute commands from there. But the blue side is which you could kind of consider the production network, right? And it's connected into the micro tick switch here, as you can see. It's the 77 network. And even though it shows two lines coming out like the Synology or the ASUS Lockstore 10, right? It's a single NIC that I've kind of configured. The other one's just there. It's not even doing anything. And the ASUS store has a single NIC, and it's 2.5 gigabit connected, hence why I put it in red. The PCs are also 10 gigabit connected and are Windows 10 boxes. So they're all pretty much interconnected and ready to go. So let's go ahead and do some simple testing. As I mentioned before, I'm on the 150 PC, and the 151 PC right here is in iperf server mode. So all I got to do is call it out, and we'll start getting some results right away. So let's go into iperf3. We'll type in C for client and the target we want to go to. Okay, it starts making a connection to the server and immediately starting giving me results in the bandwidth column. We can see right here how fast it's ticking along. Done. So we can kind of see between PC to PC, the initial results I got was about 7.4, 7.5 gigabits of bandwidth, kind of back and forth between those two PCs through the micro tick switch. Okay, so let's take a look at how we got the other devices set up. So here's the Drive Store 2 Pro. And I went through this in the quick NAS on how to set it all up with containers. Just know that it has a Docker container installed on it. It has Ubuntu, network tools, and the iperf3. I go to shell in the box, and I executed this set of commands. First, I do a privilege elevation for docker.sock so I could run different Docker command programs without having to do sudo over and over again. I ran Docker images just to see the images that were on this device. And then I ran the one I wanted, which was the Ubuntu VM Explorer /Ubuntu-ARM-iperf3, and got it up and running in terminal mode. That's what IT does here. Okay, so now it's ready to go, and I can execute the same command. So I could do iperf -v to see its version. Okay, it's good. Let's do -v for version, and there it is. All right, so now I do iperf3-c space, and the IP address of that Windows PC. Okay, it's going to start doing its tests. Okay, and we can see it's coming back with about 1.8 gigabit per second. Okay, now keep in mind, this is the Drive Store Pro 2. And if we go back and look at that diagram, we recall that it only had a 2.5 gigabit connection. So we're seeing almost 2 gigabits out of it. And that's what we kind of would expect from that. How about the Lockstore 10 to that PC? Okay, so again, it's the same container, same commands. We elevated it, we ran images. We ran in IT mode or terminal mode, the same one. Now this one's the Atom version we're running here because that's the processor it uses. And iperf3-v for Victor. There's its version. Now we'll do C, and we'll talk to that Windows PC. Now this should be somewhere closer to 10. It sure is. Now we're getting like 7, almost 8-ish, somewhere in that range as it goes through. Looks like an average of maybe 6-ish. Yeah, 7.6 gigabit is what we're seeing from the Lockstore 10, which has a 10 gigabit connection into the Windows PC. What about the Synology? Here's the Synology setup. Again, it's running Docker container. And in this one, all I had to do is run it here and put it in terminal mode. And I could have the console right here, and we'll do the same thing. iperf3-v for version. There it is. And now we'll do the -c over to the Windows machine. And there it goes. So now we've got another connection. Now this one says that it's pulling closer to 9.4 gigabit per session, which is a big improvement, as we can see. So I would record all these numbers and start to form a baseline of all the different systems and how they interconnect and get that all documented. From there, now I can start making changes. If I want to change round robin or put in a lag group or make some adjustments to the network and do all that type of things. But this gives me a common program, which is iperf3. I can go through and set it up on all of my NAS devices using almost a common Docker installation, right? And then start to form those baselines and move it forward. I'll continue and post up some results as I get more averages that come out here. And then if I make any adjustments, we'll make additional videos on what I adjusted and findings and things of that nature. I do hope you enjoyed this video today. I hope it was informational. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And as always, please do hit subscribe. Thanks, everyone. Take care.